Morning, everyone. My name is Seok Kun, and a little bit about our platform, Xin Ren Dao, is to share our human experiences as we explore effective tools to shift to higher consciousness so that we can enjoy all the perks of being human, which is none other than feeling happy, healthy, joyous, alive in our body, mind, and spirit. And today I was so very happy to invite Scarlett to share with us one of her great energetic tools, and for us all to experience how we can change our energy and change our life. So a little bit about Scarlett. I got to know her about 6 years ago. That was at one of my lowest point when I loved a dear one unexpectedly. And his sudden passing left me, with a lot of unanswered questions. And I so wanted so much to connect with his spirit, but I was afraid to go to mediums. And by chance, a friend recommended me to go to Scarlett and told me she's not like the regular, medium, but she's well tapped into the higher consciousness. And so I went for the session, and it was eye-opening experience for me. And I was really amazed by her ability to tune into answers, which in months to come did prove that, she was getting the answers. And then later on, I had a couple more sessions with her, including a decluttering session. That was really, I didn't know it was so painful to declutter my own clothes. And energetically, as I, tune in with every cloth, wow, it was such a revealing process for me. And I also went for her crystal mandala session, a self-love mandala, a soul song session, including power versus force, and then her energetic shift and insight session. So all these sessions have helped me to make my paradigm shift and help me make a leap in my own consciousness. So I'm very happy you're all here to have an experience with Scarlett. And so without further ado, let's welcome her. Scarlett.
Thank you, Seok Kun. I'm just going to share with everyone. I'm going to share screen. Okay, as we were looking at the event and what we are talking about today, it's really about changing your energy and changing your life. So I just want to take this time to share and set the tone so that you know what this is about, because a lot of time when we talk about energy healing, energy in medicine, or shifts, people are like, what is that, right? So I'm just going to do a bit of sharing with you so you know how this works. Okay, so you are energy, right? We all are energy, and life is really energy if you look at it, right? Like what runs through our human body, and then what runs through the flowers, and what runs through the waters, all of it is actually energy. So if we actually distill it down to the common element between everything that is life on this earth, people, spaces, situation, we can look at it in terms of it's all energy. Not only that, our mind, our body, our spirit, actually, again, it is all energy. There is energy that is running through the mind, that is creating thoughts, and then there's energy running through the body, and then also the spirit inherently has energy. So there are, some of you would have been on this path for quite some time, maybe on your self-seeking or healing path. You will understand that there are many layers of consciousness, many layers of body, and they all have energy. So if we look at it then, right, basically health, wealth, and relationship, it is all energy as well. Yeah, and one of the important thing about body being energy is that when quantum scientists start looking at, they wanted to find out what is the smallest particle in the human body, right? And they went right down to the cells, to the atoms, and they realized that when they look at it, right, there is, in the atom, there's electron, neutron, and all of that. But when they look into it further and further, they're trying to look for what is the smallest particle. They realize that there is nothing there. There's actually nothing there. It's like a void. It's like a black hole. But at the same time, it's actually a vortex of energy. There is a field, right? So it's almost like, wow, if you look at the universe as we understand it, if you distill it all the way down to the human cell, right? There is actually a very tiny micro universe inside each and every single one of the cell. And why is it that we are all energy and that there's actually space inside ourselves and between everything? But why do we look solid, right? So one of the scientists, what he explained it is that the electrons inside, because the electrons are buzzing, right? So when the electrons buzz and there's energy, what happens is it repels the other cell, right? So things cannot go through us because the electrons are actually repelling it. It's creating an energy that pushes back, okay? So that's why we appear solid, but we actually are spaces, we actually are energy within. So it's interesting because when we look at life, then, we can look at everything in terms of energy. So a little bit about myself. I, of course, just now Seok Kun has shared the various things that I do. But usually the easiest way to remember me as is I'm an energy shifts practitioner and teacher. I teach people to do this work as well. I'm also a spiritual coach. I help people through the times in your life where you need some answers and you want to gain more clarity in terms of maybe you've done a lot of practices, but you don't know, right? Like how do you connect all these dots? So that's what I actually do. We all actually have the ability to access, understand, and master energy, right? So are you ready to work with me? I actually stumbled upon energy work, right? 9 years ago in my life when I actually became a single, unwed mother. And as we know, in Singapore, being still a conservative society, there is a lot of stigma, there's a lot of trauma, there's a lot of shame, there's a lot of how do I tell my parents, and within the family dynamics, there's a lot of how do I deal with this? And inherently a lot of things happen, and during that time in my life I chanced upon this energy modality. And initially I thought, wow, this is too good to be true, right? That like we all can actually work with that energy. But there come a time, there was a particular incident and I realized that, whoa, all the energies around me are not mine. How do I deal with it? So I decided to take a session with a practitioner who then became my teacher. And I realized that, wow, there is something there because, things shifted just like that. So maybe you're in this, season in your life right now. Maybe you're looking for something to help you. So hopefully this can support you a little bit. And something that I wanted to also share with everyone is that it's very important to discern, right? A lot of times it's important to discern what is your own energy and what are other people's energy. And the good thing is actually a lot of times you already know. It's just that you are maybe uncertain, right? So I'm just going to share very briefly with you. It's like a lot of time you already have that sense of knowing. You don't know how you know, but you kind of know it, right? You like you know that this is not mine, okay? But how do you deal with it? And then when you think of someone or you think of a particular place and suddenly you feel, oh, that is also what's happening, right? You actually sense the other person's energy or you sense a space energy. Or sometimes when you walk into a room, very immediately, when you walk into a room, when you come home from work, or let's say you step into a place and you inherently know when someone is upset, where maybe there has been an argument in the room, right? Or maybe you feel grief, right? When you walk into a certain place and you feel the grief, even before you reach, right? Like you're just a few steps away from the room that you're entering, the space you're entering, maybe even a funeral, right? You feel a deep heaviness, a grief. So you're already sensing. A lot of times we already have that innate sense. And then when you calm a person down, right? When a child is upset, when a friend is upset, you feel it. And then when you're calming them down, then as they slowly dissipate, as you're talking to them, or maybe you give them a hug, you feel them changing. So you already know, right? You're already sensing energy. Then there are a lot of times when there are unexplained emotions, right? Suddenly you feel very angry. Suddenly you feel very nervous and anxious, or maybe you feel, like a sudden sadness overcoming you. So these are all other people's energy a lot of times. Then there are also sensations. Okay, sometimes you may, when you tune into a place, you may suddenly feel a giddy spell. Okay, uh, these are low energies. These are low vibrational energies. And then there is also headache sometimes. Okay, when you think of someone, or when you think of a particular situation, like maybe someone is telling you a story, and they're saying, oh, this happened and that and whatnot, and suddenly you feel headache, right? Again, that is not your own energy. And also sometimes, again, tuning into some people, or even not knowing it, but you suddenly develop a pain in your body. Sometimes it's your own, but sometimes it's other people's energy as well. Okay, so these are various ways that you already know, in terms of, is this my own energy? Is this someone else's energy? Okay. Oh, okay. So I just want to share a little bit about the science behind all of this, right? So our body is really like a biocomputer. Actually, we are connected by entanglement and interference in the signals that we send out. Okay. Um, and that is interesting because that is also actually how we know, um, yeah, how we actually tune into information, to intuition, okay, and how things are coming to us. But that's also how we actually, get triggered by the low vibrational energies, okay? So our subconscious programming, right? Actually, when we look at it, the body is functioning all the time. There's so many things going on. There's actually, we're trying to digest food, right? We're trying to balance. We are trying to stay calm, etc. So all the different systems and glands, which of course Ing will tell you, all these things better. There's so many things going on at all this time. How does our mind or our brain manage all of these things, right? We need to breathe, right? Who's reminding our body to breathe as we are sitting here, right? So a lot of times the body is running on our subconscious programming. So 95% of the things that's going on in our body is running by subconscious programming. So the situations that we actually run into, okay, in life, if you read law of attraction, if you understand law of attraction, that's what's going on. It's actually our subconscious programming, and then it's imbibing all of these things, and that's what's happening. Okay, and how do we actually change the subconscious programming? We actually change it by hypnotherapy or energy medicine. Okay, so again, we'll just go back a little bit. The entanglement, right? What changes it? Trauma, toxins, and thoughts. Okay, and all of these things affect us very deeply. So trauma and toxins, maybe trauma is a little bit hard to manage because we don't know when it comes at us. Toxins, the food that we eat, the environment that we're in, the water that we drink, our thoughts, right? Our emotions, it also can create toxins in our body. But the last one, thoughts, right? Thoughts, isn't it interesting? Because you see, the thing is, our mind is running, right? Every day, they have done a study, we have between 40,000 to 65,000 thoughts. Okay, it's just like random, just going at crazy speed, and we're not even aware of it. And sometimes we are aware of it. And what's happening is that all these things, it's creating a loop in our head. It's creating this loop, and it's telling us this and that, and then our mind is believing into all these things. Okay, so what we think, how we think. That's why in the past people talk about positive thinking, right? And that's actually really part of it, okay? And then when our body is a biocomputer, what happens? Basically, it's very easy to tell because our senses and our muscles would actually inform us what makes us strong and what makes us weak. So when we actually can tune in to insights and thought forms that comes as we are connecting with the entanglement and the interference that's out there, so that we can know what's going on. We can then actually also know by our senses. Sometimes people may be more feeling, right? They feel it. Sometimes people may be more knowing, but our muscles actually tell us immediately. I'm not going to go into kinesiology or muscle testing demo today, but another time and space, when there's a chance, I hope you can experience it for yourself, because immediately you can tell, okay? Like when something weakens you, your muscle will just not hold. So the good news is, if we know all of these things, then we can delete the weaknesses, and we can also strengthen the factors that would help us to make it strong. So what does that mean? That means that for yourself, for your loved ones, right? In your business, within your family, your roles and your relationship, as well as your health and wealth, you can actually do a lot more when you understand energy. Okay, you can empower yourself when you learn how to do this, or you seek help in this area. Can remove obstacles. You can come back to a place of balance. You can make better decisions. You can accelerate outcomes. And then, of course, you can create miracles in that sense, because it's like, whoa, suddenly everything is moving when you have been stuck for years, right? So this is all about working with your elements, right? And you make whatever has been unconscious conscious, and then you bring whatever is in the subconscious up, right? You tap more and more into that so that you can ride the waves of life, right? Or you will also know, right, when it's time, oh, the energy is coming, let's ride it. And then, okay, there's no energy, let's just rest and not beat ourselves up for it, right? So it gets more and more easy to navigate in your life. So if you can reprogram your life, you can shift your energy, you can change a lot of things. So there are two ways that you can work with me, right? There are sessions and retreats. Usually I do this for 45 minutes online, and it's for a private session, okay? Individual one-to-one is $238. I usually give $50 off for the first timer, but just now on the way here, I received several signs, okay? And it's like, okay, no. Today, I'm just gonna offer it to everyone. I'm just putting it out here. If you're doing it for the first time with me, it's $138 for you, okay? And then I'm also doing retreats for yourself, right? 4 hours in person is $500. And then there's also workshops. If you want to learn this thing, if you're ready for this, contact me. You can learn more and more details about when and all of that. I also have some other upcoming events. I have Intuitive Soul Movement. It's really a family constellation workshop where you look through your entanglement with your father and mother, okay, some of the patterns and dynamics that you want to clear, that you want answers to, or maybe you never knew, right? But there's always this thing that's in your heart, like you can't let go of it. Certain things that's happening in the family, or how you feel towards your father or mother. This is a perfect way to work through that. Intuitive Soul Movements actually is also for other areas of your life, okay? But for the first one, I like to focus on just, the family dynamics. And I'm also doing a couple of Mandala sound and Cacao ceremony at Raffles Hotel. On those dates, it's on Sundays. If you're interested, again, find out more from me. Okay, but if not, right, what I'm going to do now, I'm actually going to do the fun bit. I'm actually going to do strengthening for all of you, okay, so that you can immediately feel the shift or benefit from some of this shift, right? So what you can do is you can type, okay, maybe tune into all these things that I've said, right? And if you have questions, you can ask them. But if not, I would actually do the strengthening for you right now. Is there something that is bothering you? Is there something that you're having some pain in your body? Or maybe there is a certain situation? Just you can type into the chat, right? You can pick one thing that you want to work on, and I can actually do the clearing for you now, or do the strengthening for you now. Does anyone have anything that you want to work on? Don't be shy. Okay, Shali, can you tell me a little bit more? Like, what do you mean by that? Okay, Shali, Shall just tell me a bit more in terms of what that is, okay? Like in what area specifically, because it's too broad. Are you talking about everyone, yourself, you're taking it, not taking it, what? Okay, but as you're doing that, so okay, you're going to do it, okay? So strong to it. So I do on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being weak energetically and 10 being strong energetically. If we look at you going to do it, it's pretty okay. You're like, there's a wobble, right? You think it's a 2, but yet, going to do it, thinking of going to do it makes it a 2, but actually going to do it is like a 6 for you, okay? So there is a certain conflict between your body and whatever is the reality for you actually. So I'm going to delete that because your body feels weak. Okay, you feel that your body is weak, and therefore the weakness in the body is actually what's weakening you in terms of accepting that you're going to go get the vaccination. Fear comes up. It is actually external fear, a lot of external fear. You're tuning into all the external fear. You tend to have a nervous system that is very sensitive. So we're going to delete that. I'm going to strengthen you for having a sensitive nervous system in general. I'm also going to strengthen all the capillaries in your body, whatever that may mean for you. Again, fear comes up. External fear once again. And it's related to your sun. So we're going to delete that. I'm going to strengthen you to connect and disconnect from your sun. When it comes to that, taking the vaccination, whether he can be there for you or not, whether you're going to be able to take it or not, and all of that, his thinking about aging actually weakens that. So we're going to delete that. We're going to strengthen him to aging, not aging. We're going to strengthen you to having him around you or not. And we're also going to strengthen you to being okay to taking care of yourself, because taking care of yourself generally is a weakness for you. So we're going to delete that. And that is coming from, wanting to be with your family more than being with yourself. So we're going to strengthen you for that. And generally, I'm also going to strengthen you for groundedness. It just feels like your lower chakras is not very grounded. Like you keep wanting to go forward towards other people, but you are not, at peace and stable within yourself. So I'm just going to strengthen you for that. So when I'm doing energy work, right, like that for every individual, actually the group, whoever is tuning in right now, you will also get the same strengthening. So you may also feel some shift within yourself, and that is normal and that is okay. So I'm going to just strengthen you to, mind, no mind, thinking, no thinking, because for Charlie, it's all about thinking that's actually weakening you all the time. Okay, so I'm going to strengthen you to just being strong, to being at ease with your own thinking. Okay, and I'm going to strengthen you again to thinking, but I want to also encourage you to actually do a lot more affirmation so that you can improve your thinking and help yourself in that. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. High blood pressure, very high. Okay, anger comes up, of course. Okay, unprocessed anger. Some of it comes from your past life. So we're going to strengthen you to that. We're going to delete that. There's tension in your head as we're talking about this right now. So I'm going to strengthen you to having tension in your head. It's like a loop that goes on. Okay, so we're going to delete all the loops. We're going to delete all the neurons, okay, that actually keeps you tied to the same reactive patterns over and over again. There's a lot of unprocessed anger towards yourself, okay? So there's a lot of self-blame, there's a lot of self-judgment. I'm going to strengthen you to having and not having all of that. Pressures in life, you feel a lot of pressure in life, but a lot of it is really just your own thinking. So I'm just going to strengthen you to disconnect with your own thinking. Mind and no mind, right? Like this group seems to be that. A lot of mind, a lot of being in the mind, a lot of times not being in your body. I'm just going to strengthen everybody in this group to be more connected with your body rather than your mind, okay? Some spiritual influences there. I'm just going to strengthen you to disconnect from the influences, whether you know it or not. We're going to delete all your fears, 800 fear, whatever that may mean for you. Whoa, okay. So peer pressure comes in as well. You feel a lot of pressure from your friends, even though they are not exactly pressuring you, but because of your tendency to compare and be hard on yourself, right? That actually weakens you a lot. So we're going to delete that down to -0 infinity quantum particle level. I'm going to strengthen all the black holes in your body, all the exit portals in your body, so that you can actually easily delete and transmute all of these energies in your body. Fear comes up again, external once again. Fear about your mother. Wow, what is that about? Fear from your mother, okay? So we're going to delete that. A lot of tension in your stomach, okay? That's related to your mother. So we're going to delete all of that. We're going to strengthen both of you, delete all the anxiety in utero, even when she's carrying you, she has a lot of tension. So I'm going to strengthen your mother at that point in time, back in time, space, dimension. We're going to delete all of those sadness and grief that she actually had when she was actually carrying you. So you're also very sensitive to environment, okay? And your neighborhood actually gives you a lot of anxiety. I'm just going to strengthen you to your neighborhood in general. I'm just going to strengthen you to connecting, disconnecting from all the people in your neighborhood. Some electromagnetic field that runs across your neighborhood actually weakens you as well. I'm going to delete that. I'm going to strengthen your spine for that. Okay, so you're not like 100% at 10 or something, but you're at about 7 or 8 right now. So I'm going to move on to the next person. So Sun says that you're curious, the strengthening, no, strengthening does not need release first, okay? So sometimes also, I don't really like the word release because when you look at the word release, you are actually re-inviting a release of the same thing coming back to you, okay? And the thing is, a lot of time when we talk about release, right? There's a lot of old connotation in the word. So I'm going to delete the meaning of this word for everyone as well. We're going to strengthen everyone to be strong to this word, and we're going to delete all the past references of what this word means, because a lot of time what happened in the past for the entire mass consciousness is that you release and it comes back, you release and it comes back. And for some people, when you think about release, they are, just making it a, how do I put it? It's like, it's not a true release, because for some people, release means, okay, I give you a long line, right? You're still tied to me, but I give you a long line, you run, okay? You run further, but that's it. After that, I'm going to pull you back again, right? So for some of the people, right, when you think of release, you'll be like, okay, I let it go far, far away from me, but you haven't truly cut the cord, and the next minute you pull it back again. Okay, so I don't like to use the word release. Yeah, I am it's like when you strengthen, so the word that I use here, you hear very often, is instead, delete. Okay, so we delete because it's all about the programming in the body. So we delete that. Yeah. So Sun, a better word that I always use is, I like to use let go. I like to use disintegrate. I like to use dissolve. I like to use transmute. Okay, and that gives the body a lot more freedom to take care of it easily. Okay, so I'm just going to strengthen everybody's solar plexus at this point in time to all the things in the past related to, trying to release and things coming back, clearing it. I'm also going to strengthen everybody's digestive system. I'm going to strengthen everybody's exit portals through the lower chakras. I'm also going to strengthen everybody's legs and hands on the palms of your hands. I'm going to strengthen for letting go. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the next one. Caregiver taking care of mom who has cancer to have the courage and energy. Okay, so first of all, when we talk about that, the first person that needs the courage and energy is actually yourself. So I'm just going to strengthen you for that. Okay. So because you are at a distance trying to give a lot of strength and energy to them, because thinking of them actually draws your energy away from you, I'm just going to strengthen you to trusting, that everyone has the ability to regulate and self-rejuvenate. Okay, so we're going to strengthen for rejuvenation for everyone, your caregiver, your mom, yourself. Fear comes up, internal, your own fear, okay, your fear of losing power, losing control, losing your mother, all of that weakens you a lot. So we're going to strengthen you for that. We're going to delete all of that. I'm going to strengthen you for having these fears, because these fears, in some ways, is normal, okay? But what you need to do is to quickly recognize it so that you can actually be okay with it, right? Every time you have that fear, you just need to, again, I go back to affirmation. You just need to say a prayer, okay, um, in whatever denomination that you are comfortable with. If you're Christian or Buddhist or you have no religion, that's fine. Just say a prayer. A prayer means you send out an intention and say, um, I believe that everything is happening for the highest good and all is well in my world. Okay, there is this condition, whatever name we give to it medically, but all is still well. Okay, at that point in time, all is well. So we're going to strengthen you for that. External fear comes up. Your mother's fears actually weakens you. Your mother's fear weakens the people around. So I'm going to strengthen all of you to be strong to that. We're going to delete her fear. Her fear is of losing time with all of you, losing touch, not being able to be with all of you. So we're going to strengthen her for that. We're going to delete her fear, and we're going to strengthen her instead for creative solutions so that she can actually spend more time with all of you. I'm also going to strengthen for the connection between you and your mother, because it's almost like the caregiver is kind of put in there, kind of like as a buffer, but really the both of you are yearning to reach out to each other. Okay, so I'm going to strengthen for that. I'm going to strengthen that both of you actually find ways to actually connect. And even if you're not with your mother, okay, like when you're not with your mother physically, just think of her and send her love. Okay, when you send her love, I don't know if you were here just now when we were beginning the session. Seok-kun says to, put your hand to your heart and, sing a tune. So you can do that as well, right? When you think of your mother, just send a tone out to your mother. Sing a tone, a note of love, okay? And send that intention of healing and prayer out to the mother. Okay, so when it comes to the caregiver, this person's energy is pretty good. It's like 8 out of 10. Okay. Courage, maybe a little bit less, like on a 4 out of 10. So I'm just going to strengthen this person to be able to trust the intuition, okay, and to trust that he or she, okay, it feels like, I'm not sure if it's a man or woman, but she has pretty strong masculine energy. So that's why the young energy is pretty good. So I'm just going to strengthen for trusting the intuition and trusting that, decisions on a daily basis is fine, that, this person is actually empowered to take care of your mother. Because what holds this person back in terms of courage is not sure, if that's the right thing, not sure if the family members are okay with that. So we're going to delete all of that. We're going to delete over concern from other people. We're going to strengthen being present in the body and just feeling into what would honor, okay, your mom, when the person is giving care. And I'm also going to strengthen the connection between your mother and the caregiver so that there's more trust. Okay. And having different ideas, okay, having different ideas about well-being and wellness actually is what creating a weakness in terms of the caregiver taking more charge. So we're going to strengthen for that. We're going to delete the differences. We're going to strengthen for, going with the flow and feeling into the body. I'm also going to strengthen your mom for the same, so that your mom can actually trust the body more, trust what needs to be taken care of at that point in time more. We're going to delete any need and dependence on traditional literature or, what people may say about this condition. But for her to really feel into, is this honoring my own well-being? Okay, so I'm going to strengthen for all of that. I'm also going to strengthen for evenness between the three of you once again. We'll delete any factors temperature, daylight or lack of daylight that actually weakens all of you, and we're just going to strengthen for overall balance. We're going to delete any tension in the head. There's fatigue, particularly for you when it comes to this whole condition. So I'm going to strengthen you for that. I'm going to delete the fatigue, delete it on a cellular level. And once again, your own cellular regeneration needs to be taken care of as well. So I'm going to strengthen all your lower chakras. I'm also going to strengthen your spine. I'm going to strengthen for instant rejuvenation. There's tightness around your throat and your higher heart. There's a lot of holding back of love. So I'm just going to strengthen you for all of that, deleting all of that and strengthening you to taking care and loving yourself more. And then, from there, you can actually love your mother better. Okay, so I'm going to move to the next one. Right side of your body, you feel pain, you also feel nervous, and you feel weak on the right side. The weakness is really coming from worrying about your future. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to strengthen you to, even if you're thinking of the future, instead of worrying, but to actually think about what do you want? Okay, because a lot of times when we think about the future, we worry about the things that we don't have or that we can't achieve, or that will come back to us again, and the situation that we don't want in the past coming back again and again. But what we need to do is really to, instead of thinking of all those things all the time, we need to think about, what do I want? What do I want in the future? What is the possibility in the future? Can we dream bigger than that? So prep yourself, and prime yourself every time to go a little bit further. What do I want? What do I want? Every time you have that worry about, I don't want that, right? Think about then, what do you want? What do you want? Yeah. Some fear, there's still some level of fear about not knowing what you want. So we're going to delete that. So that really weakens, especially around your hip area, your womb area on the right side when you think about, what do I really want? So I'm going to delete any tension, ache and pain in that area for you. I'm going to strengthen you to your personal power. I would also strengthen you for balance. And I'm going to strengthen your lower back in general so that it can hold you up a little bit more. So you're strong in your body, but what actually happens is that your sensitivity, okay, like when all your energy goes towards the thoughts, right, then your sensitivity of your body kind of it just open up, and then that actually weakens you because you're tucked and pulled by other people around you. So I'm going to strengthen you for balance. I'm going to strengthen you to be strong. Once again, in your base chakra, in your uterus, and we're going to strengthen your right brain as well. There's tension at the back of the right side of your brain. We're going to delete that. It's very minor, but it's there nonetheless. Okay, feels better now. We're going to move on to the next person. Past life trauma. Clearing before, no idea if it's all in the past. Okay, so sometimes past life trauma, because when it comes to energy, as I said, it's when, the same trauma could affect different parts of your life. Sometimes the same trauma, right? It could be affecting your body, it could be affecting your relationship, it could be affecting a situation, right? And then when you're clearing, it depends on what you're clearing it for. So sometimes you may clear it on one level, but because it's like an onion, right? And then if you have touched that root cause of it, it goes away immediately. But if you haven't touched the root cause of it, or maybe there's something that is, pulling it back because someone else was actually affected by it as well, sometimes the situation comes back. Okay, but every time you clear it, it's like, 40% dropped, 30% dropped. Now it's a lot easier. Okay, so it really depends. If you're not feeling it come back, then great, right? But if there's still some remnant of it, I'm just going to strengthen everyone now for whatever remnants of the karma that you still feel that is still bothering you. We're just going to strengthen you for having that. We'll strengthen everyone to be strong to not having it as well. So we're going to delete that, dissolve, disintegrate right now. And we're going to complete as well. We're just going to strengthen for completion, and we're going to strengthen for moving forward strong. I'm going to strengthen some of you. Some of you have this thing about, I need to remember it. Okay, I need to remember it, otherwise it will come back. We're going to delete that. We're going to strengthen that, if it's already done, completed, that you don't have to think about it. Okay, free up your space so that you can do something else. Okay, you need help for a current situation that you're in with a lot going on in relationship, work commitment, and family members. The first thing that actually weakens you is actually your family members, okay? Because you feel that you need to be there for your family member, and because you feel that you need to be there for your family members, you can't have time and energy for your relationship and your work commitment. Okay, so I'm just going to strengthen you to connect and disconnect with all of your family members. There are two persons in particular that really ask for your attention a lot, okay? So I don't know why you need to be there for them. It doesn't really feel like there is a pressing need. It just feels more like they want your attention. It's like, no, I want you, you need to be with me, and that kind of energy. So I'm just going to strengthen you to be strong to, not being triggered and bothered by that neediness. Okay, so I'm going to delete that neediness. I'm going to strengthen you to identify that sometimes this neediness is, it's just a neediness. There is no immediate pressing thing that your family member need from you. It's just attention that the person is seeking. One of them is particularly nervous, okay, your family member, a little bit jumpy, and that jumpiness, like that demand for energy, is what really takes up too much of everyone else's attention. So I'm going to strengthen for that. We're going to delete that. We're going to strengthen the central nervous system for that person. There is some weakness in the throat area of the person, not knowing how to communicate what the person need and want is actually what's creating the jumpiness. Okay, so we're going to strengthen that person for that. We're going to delete that fear of not being listened to, not having the words, people are not listening, but really it feels like she's not speaking properly about, not verbalizing it. So nobody actually knows what she wants, but in her head she says, like, none of you know what I want, so I'm going to delete that. None of you understand me, you're going to delete that. I'm just going to strengthen everyone to go about their taking care of themselves. Okay, so most importantly, you need to take care of yourself. So I'm just going to strengthen you for taking care of yourself. There is that fear of being unable to balance and being unable to be at all places at all time. But of course, right, we all can't be at all places at all time. That is when your energy gets drawn out of you and you are not feeling yourself. So I'm going to strengthen you to be present in your body, present in the time and space. I'm going to strengthen for time, because a lot of times we all feel like, oh, there's not enough time. And when we think there is not enough time, it actually makes us feel even less grounded. So I'm going to strengthen you for being present in your body, being grounded in your body. And I'm also going to strengthen you to being strong to being still. Okay, just be still. But when you get still, you also have a weakness in the sense that when you become still, you feel like, oh, no, I need to get up now and do something immediately. Okay, so we're going to delete that fear of needing to get up and going immediately. There's some weakness in your stomach. Okay, so we're going to delete the emptiness in your stomach. There's some dread. Okay, the dread comes from like, everyone wants my attention, then how? Right? And then everyone wants a piece of me, then how? So there is some very deep rooted resentment. Okay, very, very deep rooted resentment from childhood, between 6, 7, or 8 years old. That particular time in your life, you keep feeling like, you got to give in to everyone. Everyone wants a piece of you. So I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to strengthen your throat. There's a lot of grief that's inside that stomach that comes from that. So I'm going to strengthen you for having and not having that, clearing, not clearing that, remembering, not remembering that, because remembering it actually makes you feel sad. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to strengthen you that if it's important for you, that you will actually be going to clear it, for yourself. going to strengthen for space in your solar plexus. So there's still quite a fair bit in your solar plexus that needs to be processed. I'm going to strengthen your feet chakra. I'm going to strengthen the portals in your feet so that you can get grounded again. I'm going to strengthen the evenness between your mind and your body. I'm also going to strengthen your heart because the heart feels particularly sad and weak, okay? I'm going to strengthen you for all the challenges in your life. I'm going to strengthen you for being able to face up to all of them. And I'm also strengthen you to the feeling of now you are okay. Okay, so there might be a lot more that you need to work on, but I think for now, just let it settle, okay? And I'm just going to strengthen you for resting. Okay, take this weekend to rest and reset yourself. Okay, I'm going to move on to the next person. Mindset shifting and letting go of procrastination. So letting go of procrastination. So you're at a 3 out of 10. Psychological, external weaknesses. Your mother, when you're growing up, your mother is always looking at you and, you know, seeing and watching what you're doing. So you kind of freeze because, because she's always looking at you and watching you. And that actually weakens you because it's like, should I do it or not? Like she's looking at me, okay? So that is the hardwiring program into that. We're going to delete that. I'm going to strengthen you to the image of remembering your mother looking at you. And even when your mother is not looking at you anymore, but the body is so conditioned to that, right? That you feel that sense of procrastination. And when we talk about taking action, then there is immediately a pain on the right side of your hip. It's almost like because you have repressed that standing up and doing something for so long that the right hip has an ache and pain. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to delete all the associated experiences, all the time of all the thoughts form that's compacted and impacted into that particular space, okay, in your hip, your right hip. We're going to delete all of that. I'm going to strengthen for immediate rejuvenation. I'm going to dissolve and delete all the emotions that's stuck in the right hip. We strengthen you for your fears that you have. We're also going to strengthen you for the fears that your mother had. We're going to delete the fear that your mother has about you, because in your mother's eyes, right, she would see you as someone that is impulsive. Like when you want to get things done, you would immediately get up and go. So therefore, her intention on you as you're growing up actually becomes something that shackled you down. So we're going to strengthen, delete all of that. So it's actually a 3-point pain, right? So your right hip, right shoulder, and your left side of the brain. We're going to delete this 3-point connection. We're going to strengthen you for having this 3-point connection. So I'm just going to strengthen everybody in general to all the strengthening that's done today. We're going to strengthen everybody to whether you understand it or not understand it, whether you know or not know, you remember or not remember. And we're going to delete any need for holding on to energies that no longer serve your highest good. I'm also going to strengthen everybody to being free, you know, freedom to be yourself, freedom of the moment, to really take in everything, you know, that's around you at that moment. Because when you take in everything that's around you, especially noticing all the good things, okay, I'm just strengthening everybody to notice all the beautiful, strong things and the things that support you in your life, so that when you pay attention to all of that more and more, okay, and being happy in your own space, being happy in your body, feeling the ease and peace in your body, that would actually support you a lot more. So we delete all the need for holding back. We delete all the need for thinking about, oh, does it take time to heal or not take time to heal? And, like, is this someone taking control of my body and thoughts and all of that? We're going to delete all of that. I'm going to strengthen everybody with faith, trust, and love. I'm still going to strengthen everybody to feeling more ease, more joy, and that things can, be a lot easier for you in your life. Well, that's it. I'm not sure if any of you have any questions, feedback. You can always turn on your camera and your sound. You can speak or you can type. I'll be happy to hear what happened for you as I'm doing the strengthening. Or if you have any questions, further questions. Yeah, hopefully all of you feel different, right? Like there's a shift before and after. You feel different about, okay, emotional. This feeling of emotions is a bit of a relief actually. So the feeling the emotions, but also missing your children, missing your son especially, right, Shali? So I'm just going to strengthen you for that. Reach out to them, right? Hold them. I'm going to strengthen you because it feels like you are yearning for a hug, more personal touch. Like you want to hug your children, but they're also big now, right? You don't really feel like, oh, is it okay to do that? So I'm going to strengthen all of you for that. Okay, that's great, Lydia. Lydia said she cried. Yeah. So yeah, reach out to your loved ones. Right. Okay, you cry too, Shali. That's good. Yeah. So it's sometimes when emotions, we are letting go of emotions, right? Then the emotions come up, okay, because you have been repressing it. So if you're yearning for physical touch, everyone, the first thing we can do is to touch ourselves, right? Right? Like give yourself all the places in your body that need some touch. Just give yourself a hug, a pat, a rub. When you do that, it really supports you. Okay, Bing Xia says clearer now and more confident. That's perfect. That's great. Yeah.
Son, you have any questions?
Oh, just sharing because it's like, thank you, Scarlett. Finally, like I speak to you face to face instead of months ago WhatsApp. Yeah, because as this went on, I could feel like different parts of my body just like trigger pain, or I don't know how to say it. And I mean, it went through very fast, like here, there. And I think at some point there was also like a kind of pain. So suddenly my mind again is like energy. We are energy. So pain or pressure, it is probably a symptom. But suddenly my mind went stuck as like that relationship of that, tension and energy. Yeah, it's just this thinking mind got stuck. And also right now I feel that my inside is a kind of anxiety.
that a lot more needs to be done. like it's feeling like, oh, okay, it's speeding up now and a lot more can be done. So the anxiety is coming up. So it's both an excitement as well as an anxiety. So I'm going to strengthen you for that. So I'm going to strengthen you for there is enough time. There is enough time. Okay, there's always enough time. Everything is perfect in perfect divine timing.
And funny that as after I told you, there was a very sharp, like thin line pain on my right back shoulder blade. And it was like too timely. It's like,
Okay, but did the pain go away after whatever I just did? Right? Yeah. There you go. Yeah. So you're very sensitive. You're very energy sensitive. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. You're welcome. So does anyone else have anything? If not, I'm just going to strengthen everybody once again in general. I'm just going to strengthen you to your personal power. I'm going to strengthen you to showing up fully in your life for yourself. I'm just going to strengthen everybody to not care about what other people may think about you. Okay, focus on yourself. The first person we need to take care of in life is ourselves. Okay, nobody is watching us. We are the ones watching ourselves. Nobody is judging us. We are the ones judging ourselves. Okay, so let go of those thoughts and do an energetic shift by changing your thoughts. You know, if that's the first thing you know how to do it, you can do that. Okay, empower yourself that way. Okay, tears now. I see tears. Okay, anything, Sokun?
Well, just feeling in all the energies and definitely feeling more empowered, more energetic. You know, my body is just buzzing all over. And so I just feel like, yeah, I'm really glad everyone has a taste of how Scarlett does this. Some of the friends that I've been sharing, you know, I'm glad that you're here to experience it for yourself. And certainly, I feel like everyone can learn to tune in better. You know, I mean, I'm just amazed, like, you know, Scarlett, she's always so fast. Yeah, she can sense it so fast, and then her words just flow. And, you know, and when we are in that space, that sensitive, you know, to our own emotions and what's happening, you know, all the energetics that's around us, and knowing where we want to come back to our balance, I feel like then we feel like more empowered, and you know, that we are really the co-creator. As we are more aware of like what's really happening around us, then we can come back and choose the kind of space that we want to create, the now and the future for ourselves. Great. So any comments, any more other comments and feedback?
Regina says she feels empowered. That's great.
Hi, Regina. Thank you, clearing Saturday, sunny morning. The usual afternoon, evening sessions attended. Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel like my heart is more open, and if everyone feels strong, perhaps to just unmute yourself and let's make a nice R sound together to end the session. Yeah. And I think like for in like future follow-ups, whatever, feel free to reach out to Scarlett and our platform Xing Ren Dao. And we do hope like in near future, perhaps we can have a party on Telegram, and for everyone to just share a little bit about yourself and what would you like to be supported in, and so that we can reach out better. So yeah, I'd just like to invite everyone to just put the left hand on your heart and make the most lovely R sound together. Awesome way to start our day and to end our session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Scarlett.
Thank you. I'm going to end the session now.
Thank you.
Bye.